Hello, Gaston County. Welcome to episode number 126 of Gaston's Great, a podcast highlighting some of the great things happening in and around Gaston County. I'm your host, Stephen Long. We are coming to you once again from we're going to call it the intergalactic headquarters of GSM Services this week. Is that good news? Okay. We simply believe in discussing more of the reasons why Gaston's great. We are highlighting another great organization this week as we kick off season 6 of the podcast. You heard that correct. Shockingly, we've made it to season 6, or whatever that means. We are highlighting the Gaston School of the Arts. We have Josh Adkins with us today, who is the executive director of the organization. Josh, it's great to have you on, and welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So it's great. And as usual, we're going to get right to it. And kind of the first question we always like to ask is, before we get into the talking about the School of the Arts, just tell us a little bit about yourself, anything you'd like to share.
Sure. So I've kind of grown up all over the United States, so that's given me some unique perspectives. I was born in Ohio, lived in several cities there, lived in Alabama, lived in Virginia, lived in Austria, lived in different places here in North Carolina. So, yeah.
How long have you been here in Gastonia?
So we've been here in Gastonia since 2002.
Okay.
2002, yeah.
Is this your longest stop?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, we typically lived in a different place every 5 years growing up. So, yeah.
So you couldn't get here quick enough. Is that?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So just another connection here real quick. I was fortunate enough to be, I say coach, back when we were doing youth sports through our church, First Methodist, but I'm not sure there's a lot of coaching going on. It was just, we had a lot of fun, and one of Josh's sons I was able to coach along with our daughter. So, man, it was a blast, right? And but, man, time goes by. Now they're getting ready to graduate. That's kind of scary, right?
It is. It's a whole new world that I'm not sure that my wife or I are ready for diving into.
Yeah, we're going through all those last right now for us, especially because it's our youngest as well. So, we're having those moments of, oh, this is the last time we're going to do this. I mean, I think we're recording this the Wednesday before Forest View's prom. So it'll be like the last prom and all this stuff. Of course, it'll be long gone. Matter of fact, dang, she might be graduated by the time this is released. Got any sad music we can play there?
Right. Sure.
So, again, I appreciate you sharing a little bit of that, Josh. But, again, the point today is let's talk about the Gaston School of the Arts, and just maybe start with, how did you get there? How did you get involved? And then we'll get into, obviously, what is the organization, and kind of talk about some of the things you guys are doing.
Yeah, so back in 2015, I got a call that the leadership at Gaston School of the Arts was having some challenges, and they wanted to talk to me about possibly coming in as executive director. So we sat down and talked, because the school had actually announced that it was going to close the month before through the Gaston Gazette. Okay. And so they needed some leadership, and, I was like, well, here's some ideas of things that I would do, whether you go with me or not, let's keep this great institution in the community. So, I mean, it had been around for quite a while. So I've been with the organization since August of 2015, and we're celebrating the organization's 40th birthday this year.
Okay, wow.
So this year we've been around for 40 years. The Playhouse got started in 2000. So for our 40th anniversary, we did Annie Jr. back in March, which was the very first show that the Playhouse ever did. So that was a little nostalgia.
Okay, that's cool.
So that was really good. So it's been great to see the school survive through COVID, because that...
I'm sure for an organization like that was kind of a weird time. Or
how
would you describe that?
Yeah, so we went from having like 200 students taking weekly lessons down to 4. So because we weren't allowed to really teach, people weren't comfortable, virtual lessons, if you can imagine having a piano in front of you and trying to tell somebody through a video screen, hey, play middle C, and they're like, okay, which one is middle C? You know?
Yeah.
So, and not all parents have musical backgrounds, so, it was really challenging, but, the teachers did great. The students kept on learning, and we've been building back since then. So,
all right. So can you kind of share, what what's the specific mission, or maybe I like that, kind of like that question, the day in the life, the week in the life, a month in the life of the organization, and what is it that you're trying to just accomplish, on a day-to-day basis here locally?
Yeah, so our mission is to bring affordable music, art, drama, arts education to the residents of Gaston County and throughout the area. So we accomplish that several different ways. One is through one-on-one lessons that we offer through our music teachers. Most of our teachers have either years of experience or they have university degrees, postgraduate degrees in their art form, whatever that may be. We also offer group lessons to preschoolers, homeschool groups, different age-specific groups for art. We even have adult art classes. So our youngest student is about 5 years old. Our oldest one is in her 90s, and she's taking violin and voice lessons.
Oh, wow.
And she performs every recital. So, we have a broad range of opportunities. And then we also have drama lessons where they can have one-on-one, or they can participate in one of our children's playhouse programs. And we're one of only like 3 children's playhouses in the state of North Carolina. So it's a very unique thing that the School of Arts, where all of our cast is all under the age of 18 for every single show. So we're a very unique educational opportunity for kids and adults and teenagers to explore the arts, whether it's to see if it's for them or to prepare themselves for college or for more advanced studies.
All right. So you mentioned, I think, a number before COVID. What's a typical number of students you have or kids that you are involved with on a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, so we have around 175 right now, but we're building off of that. We collaborate with Gaston County Title I schools to try and offer some opportunities. So back when we did Annie, we brought in students from schools that wanted to participate, almost had 1,000 kids, and the different opportunities where we talked about what drama, what audition, the behind the scenes type of thing. And then they all received free tickets so they could, they learned how much work went into the putting it together. And then they got the opportunity to come and see it, and see, get that grasp from it. So we collaborate with them as well, and with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Gaston County and the Dream Center. So we try and reach out. So there's lots of different groups that are able to, that may not have access to the arts, to be able to explore. Then we have a scholarship program through, we have a endowment and then we have outside funds that help subsidize that. So if there's students that may not be able to afford lessons, then we can step in and offer them partial, full, different, based on the needs of the individual family.
Okay, very good. So you mentioned a lot of different initiatives there. And you also just pointed out 2 previous episodes of Gaston's Great Podcast with the Dream Center and the Boys and Girls Club. So well done. I appreciate that.
Glad to.
So where is, for those of our listeners who might not know, where is the school located?
Yeah, so it started on South New Hope Road years and years ago in an old Presbyterian church. It's moved several different places. When I got involved, it's on Union Road and Garrison right there in what used to be a Presbyterian church.
Used to be Armstrong Presbyterian Church. Yeah. My dad actually grew up in that church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure did.
Okay. So the old sanctuary got revamped into a playhouse, and then they added some art space. So we have a pottery room in addition to the fellowship hall. That's kind of been divided into some more art studios, and then music studios are in the old educational.
They're kind of in the back, down in the parking lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then people who don't know, I mean, matter of fact, there was an Armstrong School that is where, I guess, the Arby's is now. That was right beside the church. My dad attended elementary school there a few years ago, before even I was born. Naomi. Most of the time we're talking about things, and Naomi's like, "Well, I wasn't even born yet."
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, for me too. But so yeah, there's a little, even for me, a little nostalgia there, and and I go by there every day, back and forth to work too. So I knew where it was for lots of different reasons, and some of my community involvement as well. But I do see it on a daily basis. So you've shared a lot of initiatives, things that you guys are doing. You mentioned Annie. So what's in a typical year? Are you doing multiple shows like that, or is it just like once a year you're doing something big like that? Or
so we typically do several different shows during the year. So this summer we're doing Madagascar Junior, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We're planning our fall show, and that'll be announced here probably by the time this airs. So we typically do a fall show, spring show, and a summer show. And then the music students, they do their recitals in December and in May. And then there's a drama class, and they filter their things. So it's a hop in place. We have things happening all the time. The art students
are the shows something that anybody can buy tickets, or is it typically just the parents and family, or?
No, it's for the whole community. Okay. So yeah, they can go to our social media pages or to our website, and purchase. We sell them typically through Eventbrite, so you can do a search there, and they're open to the public.
Yeah, so we'll make sure before we finish, make sure our listeners know how to find the website and any information, and if they want to learn more. Excuse me. So just while I'm thinking about it, you mentioned hopefully maybe this will be released before then, but it might not. When is the summer show typically?
Yeah, Madagascar is going to be the last weekend in July.
Okay, yeah. So this will be released before then, so our listeners will be able to hear about that. So, so if I did some quick math, you're going on 9 years with the organization. Is that's right? So, looking back, these interactions with these students and kids, can you think of we like sharing, if possible, like anecdotal stories or things that you've seen, without sharing any specific names maybe, but a kid or a family or something that just struck you as like, wow, this is the reason that School of the Arts is here. Is there something that kind of comes to mind maybe? Yeah,
well, recently in Annie, and there's another student that was really heavily involved in our playhouse. They were a very intrinsic type of person, and when you would talk to that teenager, there would be no eye contact. Gotcha. They would just be very withdrawn. But then when they get on the stage, they're just electric and like taking up the whole stage.
Found their element, huh?
Yes, yeah. So it's really exciting to see people and students, get involved and just develop this new art form that they didn't even know they had a passion for until they got into it. Or even 90-year-olds that are. Or people in their 60s, 70s, 80s that, just had a couple art lessons or music lessons as a kid, in school. And then to see them now dive into it and to see the progress that they can make is really exciting.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it, like I said, my point, you're never too old to learn something, right? And to maybe go pursue something that maybe you wish you had done when you were younger.
Yeah, sure.
So I like to hear that.
Or even students that, have been with a school since before my time that have just continued, for years and years and years, taking piano lessons or whatever that instrument would be, and to see their progress, even on a semesterly basis is really exciting to see them. And then some of them even go on to college, to do music.
Sure.
So, to know that we had a little part in that. One of our former board members, he was a student at the school, went on to School of the Arts, and then served on our board. So, to see that circular pattern happen is great,
Yeah, absolutely. So again, your time there, maybe it doesn't have to, it could be even before your time there. Is there something that comes to mind maybe that you're most proud of seeing accomplished or happen with the School of the Arts?
I'm really excited with how we're able to offer programming to kids that really aren't getting any type of arts education in their school systems. Because since COVID, schools have been playing catch up to pass tests and to learn and everything. So the arts, it's just not as important in a lot of school systems, or school institutions. So to be able to bridge that gap and to bring that to them, because it does play a really important role in the development of humanity, of community, of things. So to see that expand and to see our adult programming expand is really exciting too, because, they're a segment that may somehow get forgotten about, but they're just as interested, and to see a larger awareness of our organization has been great.
So, looking ahead, I know that classic question is 5 to 10 years. It seems like in the world we live in now, that might be too long. I know, like in our business, it's just, you can't plan 10 years ahead with technology and everything that's going on. 5 years maybe even be too long. But, is there any big plans or any initiatives or anything you can share, or just kind of general outlook on kind of the future of the organization?
Yeah, so we hope to continue to grow and to continue to bring new teachers that bring different perspectives to our staff so that we can help different kids. So even within our piano faculty, we have, I think, 8 or 9 different teachers. Each one has a specific skill set, a specific style.
Okay.
So it helps kids and any student age, to be able to do better or to explore a different aspect of playing the piano, whether that's composition, whether that's jazz, whether that's classical music, whether that's rock and roll, so being able to grow and continue to expand our programming and continue to bring awareness so that more people know that, hey, there's a scholarship fund so that I can't afford it, but I can pay some, and we can help fill the gap so that student that is interested, is passionate, is able to follow that venue, that artistic, that may end up turning into a career for them.
Where is your typically getting, where are the faculty and teachers coming from? Are they here local, part-time? Are they teachers elsewhere? I mean, just kind of.
Yeah, all of them are part-time. Some of them teach. All of our teachers can teach as much or as little as they, have time for. We have one teacher who's on faculty at Cleveland County Community College.
Yep.
She's in head of the music program that they're developing there. A lot of our newer faculty have moved into the area because Gaston County is growing really well. So,
sure.
We're seeing that in our teacher population too, just new people coming into the area, finding out about our institution and wanting to teach some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious because you just that's the kind of thing that somebody like me, I wouldn't think about that, right? It just school age just happens, without really knowing what's going on there. So, Josh, kind of before we move on, is there any questions I haven't asked that I should have asked? Like I said, before we finish, we'll make sure our listeners know how to find out more information about the school, and we'll make sure we'll ask, what's the current? Do you have a current big need, or what's the what is it that you're looking for? On a week basis going forward. But anything I haven't asked that I should have?
Something that people may not be aware of is that we are a nonprofit, and as a nonprofit, our tuition and the fees that we, in order to accomplish our mission, our rates have to be pretty cheap. So that means in order to cover operational cost, we have to have outside funding that comes through donations or through grants and such. So we have a specialized campaign called the Friends and Family Campaign where people can just go online, they can just make a donation. We participate in things like the community run and different avenues where people...
Which is 3 days from when we're recording?
Yes, yeah. And, people that want to help support or scholarship students, we have individuals from the community that just say, hey, I want to help out. So we have ways that they can do that and help support the mission of our school.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's the kind of thing maybe links we can put into the show notes and make sure that gets, so again, our listeners can see that. So, again, I appreciate you sharing all that. Again, like I said, we'll swing back around to close out with the School of the Arts discussion. However, as usual, and we've shared some of these questions with you, we make our guests endure these Gaston County related questions.
Right.
And you've been here long enough.
Yeah.
To be able to answer some of these questions. This is really what your family, the staff, the board of the school, this is what they really want to know.
That's right. The important stuff.
That's right.
This is the important stuff.
Exactly. Josh has got it going on. He knows the game here at Gaston's great. So first question, Josh, what is your favorite Tony's ice cream flavor?
It would have to be pineapple if they have that.
Pineapple.
Yeah.
Did you say if they have that?
Yes.
So that's code for you've never been to have Tony's ice cream.
No, I definitely have been there.
Oh, okay.
But it's something that is not a regular type of thing.
Give me something, wah or something. You know what? I do not have any idea. That's not correct grammar, is it? I need a teacher to help me with that. I have no idea if
I'm not the one
Tony's has pineapple. But that would be the first time anybody has answered pineapple. So we might have to do some research and see.
I feel like they do. Last time I was there,
they may have
it.
I'm such a boring chocolate guy. So it's like I don't even look anymore.
Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry.
It's just chocolate. So I should maybe sometime at least look at the board up there and see what else they have. Sundrop or Cheerwine?
Neither. Coffee. I'm a coffee drinker.
That just for the record, that's 0 for 2. That's 0 for Favorite local restaurant?
Kitchen Mai Kong. I love Vietnamese, Thai,
Okay.
Indian.
I believe that in the 120 some episode, that is the first time we've heard that. So where's that located? We'll give them a shout out.
So it used to be Thai House. It's right across from the Jumpy place there on Franklin Boulevard.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Very good. All right. Interesting. How about favorite outdoor activity in Gaston County, or favorite park, or
Hiking, just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Walking.
Get Crowder's Mountain and all the trails and
Sure.
The greenways, all we have around
Kings
here.
Mountain Park. I mean, there's a
some
lot of good
stuff.
places.
All right. Super important question. UNC Duke or NC State?
Okay, be ready for the wah-wah. So it's going to be Appalachian for sure.
That's okay answer.
Okay.
Yeah, we will accept certain answers. I mean, my daughter, we were just talking about before we record, she just graduated last year from App.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But our youngest is going to NC State next year, so that was the actually correct answer.
Mm.
And I think Josh probably knew that was the correct answer back. We were probably called the Wolfpack back in the day.
Right.
At First Methodist, every time
I think it was.
Every time I coached, if that was an option.
That was the only.
Yeah, that was it. So, Josh, what is something very few people know about you?
So, not a lot of people know that I lived in Austria, lived in Graz.
Okay.
So, studied there, and that's where I met my wife.
Oh, wow.
So, she's Romanian. And so I met her on a mission trip on Halloween, although they don't celebrate it. I proposed Christmas, so we got married the next summer. So
I could go a lot of places with a Romanian on Halloween, but I won't.
Right. Well, and the crazy thing is they don't even know who Dracula is.
Oh,
I mean, they
funny.
do nowadays, but
Yeah.
back in that day, it was 1999.
Yeah.
So, a while ago, but it was not a big,
I got you. No, that's
thing.
funny. I mean, my wife would tell you I'm kind of a horror movie guy too, which I think that's what I share when I either that or Stephen King books. I can't remember what I shared about something few people know about, but that's great. Yeah. Very few people we could be able to tell that story about Austria and meeting your wife over there. So that's terrific. How about a book you would recommend to our listeners, or a blog or article or another podcast? It's just something that might be, beneficial to our listeners that you could share.
Yeah, so something that I've really gotten kind of addicted to the last couple months that I found accidentally on YouTube, but he also has a podcast, is David Ramsey's Entree Leadership.
Oh yeah, that's
he's got some lot of good.
That is
nuggets in
that
there.
is one that's in my queue every week.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a great place for nonprofits and
Oh, absolutely. I like listening to
nonprofits.
those because maybe I can hear from somebody else's mistake before I make it.
Exactly.
As a business owner or as a leader.
Yeah.
So no, that's really good. So Josh, I appreciate you indulging us on those Gaston County questions. So a few more questions and we'll be able to wrap this episode up. But, just kind of remembering that we're focused on Gaston County. Why is Gaston County such a great place? So I like this question, besides the Gaston School of the Arts, why would you say Gaston County is such a great place?
I really love that it's so close to Charlotte, but far enough away.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of great things that Charlotte has to offer, but it's a little bit calmer.
I have to live there.
Yes, that's right. And we've got the mountains 2.5, so we can go skiing in West Virginia. We can go skiing up there. We can go to the beach in 3.5, 4 hours, depending on which beach you go to. So, our family is really outdoorsy. So, that really appeals to us, and it's becoming quite a melting pot too. Community, a lot of people, a lot of different groups of people, and different ethnicities of people. So that's been exciting to see.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a great answer, and I would agree with you. So, last question: knowing what you know now, Josh, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Not be so OCD about some things. So having 2 kids, a son and a daughter, has helped me that there's some things that you just,
Okay. So oh wow, that's really good. When I was 20, the things that some of those little, I don't want to say minor, but some of the detail things that matter, and having 3 children, you're right. Some of that stuff you're like, God, why did I used to worry about that? And you have to let some things go, don't you?
That's right. That's right.
I don't know that I ever rose to the level of OCD, but people around here at GSM might say that I'm pretty OCD or detailed, or my wife would have a different word for it probably that we won't share on the family-friendly podcast. But no, that's good. So many things change just as you get some experience and, and older in family, and just things are just so different. So, and I appreciate that. answer because I feel like you just said to them. I looked in the mirror and said, yeah, I hear you on that one. Josh, this has been really great. So again, just to remind you and our listeners, what we're trying to do here is bring some awareness to the Gaston School of the Arts. So can you share just where can listeners go to learn more about the organization, donate, get involved, or just, maybe somebody says, maybe somebody isn't aware and they've got a kid or something that, wow, this would be great. So just share anything and everything that you can there.
Yeah. So Gaston School of Arts has a Facebook page, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter. We're on Pinterest too. And then our website is www.gastonschoolofthearts. So all of it spelled out .org. So there's an office. They can request information. There's a donate button on our website, so they can donate there.
Yeah,
they
we've
can
learned the easier the better.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. That's right. And then there's somebody there staffed throughout the week. So, somebody, if they can call and get additional information if they're interested in any of those type of things.
So, and that's where they can go to learn about upcoming shows or anything like that that's happening?
Yeah, all of it's advertised on our website. So we have a Playhouse page that talks about the shows that the community, that you don't have to be a student of. We have a youth orchestra, and you don't have to be a student at School of the Arts, where you can play in an ensemble setting. So that's open to any student that's taken a year of lessons. So whether they've studied in band or wherever, they can study, or if they want to get involved. We need lots of volunteers all the time for different things. So, people that are passionate or want to learn more.
Is there a specific greatest need at the moment? Is it donations, volunteers, things coming up, faculty, or anything, or just all of the above?
All of the above.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Josh, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the work that you're doing and the connection that we've had over the years. So, any last words before we close this episode out?
No. Thanks for inviting me and our organization to be a part of the series. So for sure.
Again, you're very welcome. I look forward to getting this episode released here and to start season 6 of Gaston's Great, which is shocking, as I mentioned earlier. So I am going to do a little book recommendation and my kind of quote or thought for the week. And the book that is one I'm rereading. I'm almost finished rereading. I probably read it 6 or 7 years ago the first time, and for some reason I felt compelled. It's a leadership book, but I picked the title on purpose because I knew I was going to be talking to Josh this week, but it's by Lee Cockerell. And the name of the book is called Creating Magic. It's actually a leadership book, but he spent time leading Walt Disney World, at least the resorts down in Florida. And so it's the lessons he's learned over his career about leading people and leading organizations. But again, that's really what I would strongly recommend. Oftentimes I'll read a book for a second time later, and I'm either at a different place or I've matured something, so I get different lessons from it later. It is what I often find when I do reread something that I liked earlier. And my quote this week comes from baseball season just started here, and I'm a big baseball fan. And Jackie Robinson, who was a great baseball player, but he was probably more well known and made a bigger impact because of breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball. But he said, "A life is not important except for the impact it has on other lives." So again, it's kind of, to me, that fits in with so many organizations we talk to. It fits in with what Josh and the team is doing at the Gaston School of Arts. And I think it's just a good reminder that ultimately everything that we do, it's really about the interactions we have with others and the impact that we have. And I'm also reminded too that, speaking of our kids, we're having an impact on people around us, but are we intentional and aware of what type of impact we're having? That's why I love talking to people like Josh, who is on a mission and has a specific, very intentional about what he's doing through the School of the Arts on a weekly and daily basis. So I'm very grateful for that and other organizations like his here in our community. So to our listeners out there, thanks so much for taking the time to listen to today's episode. Please continue to spread the word if you can about the podcast. And please don't hesitate to contact us here at our email address, which is podcast@gastonsgreat.com. We're always looking for suggestions for future podcast topics and guests. You can find the podcast and subscribe at our website, which is gastonsgreat.com, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And please follow us on all our social media platforms. And please give us a good 5-star rating, as Naomi reminds me, that helps get the podcast noticed. Thanks again to Josh for being our guest today. Gaston's Great is produced and brought to you by Naomi Hunt and Amy Anderson from GSM Services. I'm your host, Stephen Long. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and please keep coming back to hear more reasons why Gaston's great.